I still remember that night, the night that changed everything. The night when the woman I thought I knew became a stranger. It started like any other Friday evening. I came home late from work, exhausted but happy. I had just closed a deal I'd been working on for months. I wanted to celebrate with my wife, Maya. She had been distant lately, but I told myself it was just stress. Everyone goes through phases, right? When I opened the door, the house was quiet. Too quiet. Usually, the soft hum of the TV or the clatter of dishes filled the air. But that night, silence. Maya? I called out. No answer. Her car was in the driveway. Her phone was on the table. But she wasn't there. I poured myself a glass of water and noticed something strange. A faint scent of cologne. Not mine. Something stronger, unfamiliar. I brushed it off. Maybe someone hugged her at work, I told myself. Maybe I was overthinking. Then I saw it, her lipstick-stained wine glass on the kitchen counter, next to another glass. My stomach twisted. Still, I didn't want to believe it. I sat on the couch, waiting, convincing myself she'd walk in any second with a normal explanation. An hour later, headlights flashed outside. I watched her step out of a car that wasn't ours. A man leaned from the driver's seat, laughing. She touched his arm. My chest tightened. She didn't notice me watching from the window. She stood there for a moment, smiling, the same smile she used to give me. Then she walked in, pretending everything was fine. "Oh, you're home early," she said, surprised. I looked at her, her messy hair, smudged lipstick, the faint smell of alcohol, and another man's cologne. My voice trembled. "Where were you?" "With a friend," she said quickly. "Just dinner." "You know Sarah from the office." "Sarah drives a black BMW?" I interrupted. Her eyes froze for a split second. Just 1 second, but it was enough. I saw the life fall apart behind her eyes. "Maya," I said softly, "please don't lie to me." She looked away. I didn't mean for you to find out like this." Those words echoed in my head, find out like this. So it was true. The world seemed to blur. My hands went cold. I felt anger, sadness, disbelief, all crashing together like waves. "Who is he?" I asked. "It doesn't matter," she whispered. "It was a mistake. Just one night. I was lonely. You've been so busy and—" "Stop." My voice broke. "Don't turn this into my fault." She cried, then real tears, falling fast. I swear it meant nothing. I just wanted to feel wanted again. The pain in her voice cut through me, but the image of her with someone else burned deeper. I walked away, to the balcony, trying to breathe. The city lights blurred as my eyes filled. That night, I didn't sleep. I kept hearing her words, just one night. But one night was all it took to shatter 10 years of trust. End of part 1. Almost equals 1,110 words total across full script when complete. The next morning, the world looked the same, but nothing felt the same. Sunlight poured into the room, soft and golden, yet it felt cold on my skin. Maya was still there, sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at the floor like a child caught in a storm. Neither of us spoke for a long time. The silence between us was heavier than words could ever be. Finally, she whispered, "I didn't mean to hurt you." I laughed, a broken, humorless laugh. "Then why did you?" Tears filled her eyes again. "Because I was lonely. You've been working so much, always tired, always distant. I thought, maybe you didn't love me anymore." I wanted to yell, to scream that I'd been doing it all for us. The long nights, the stress, the exhaustion, all to build a life where she'd never have to worry again. But instead, I said nothing. I just looked at her, the woman I once promised forever to, and realized forever might already be gone. She tried to reach for my hand, but I stepped back. "I can't," I said quietly. "Not right now." She nodded, biting her lip, tears spilling down. "I'll leave for a few days," she said. "Maybe you need space." When the door closed behind her, the silence screamed louder than any fight could. Every corner of the house carried her scent, her laughter, our memories. I sat on the floor beside our wedding photo. The picture showed two people in love, her head resting on my shoulder, eyes full of trust. I touched the glass frame and whispered, "Where did we lose that?" That day blurred into night. I wandered through our home like a stranger. The kitchen where she used to hum while cooking, the couch where we watched movies till midnight, the bedroom where we dreamed together. Now, every place felt like a graveyard of memories. At some point, my phone buzzed, a message from her. "Maya, I'm so sorry. I wish I could undo it. Please believe me, it was only one night." One night. The same words again, one night. But what she didn't understand was that betrayal doesn't fade with dawn. It stays. It poisons everything it touches. That night I drove. No destination, just the road, my thoughts, and the ache in my chest. Rain began to fall, soft at first, then heavy. The world outside blurred, but inside my head, everything was painfully clear. I remembered the first time I met her, at a cafe near the university. She spilled coffee on my shirt and laughed nervously, offering to pay for the dry cleaning. That laugh, I used to love it. Now even the memory of it hurt. I stopped by the sea, the place where we had our first date. The waves crashed against the rocks, the wind howled, and I stood there, soaked in rain, asking the night questions it couldn't answer. Why wasn't I enough? Why didn't she just talk to me instead of betraying me? And why did I still love her, even after everything? I didn't sleep that night either. When I came home, her things were gone. Just a note on the table. "I'll stay at my sister's. I don't expect forgiveness, but I hope someday you'll understand how sorry I am." I folded the note, placed it in a drawer, and sat down at the dining table, the same table where we once shared laughter and dreams. Now it was just me and the echo of what used to be. Days turned into weeks. People noticed the change, my colleagues, my friends. They asked if everything was okay, and I'd smile and lie. "Yeah, just tired." But inside, I was falling apart. Every night I'd replay it, her stepping out of that car, smiling at another man. Every time I tried to forgive, the image burned me all over again. One evening she called. I didn't answer. She called again, then again. Finally, I picked up. "Please," she said through tears. "Just hear me out." I didn't speak. "I know I've broken you," she continued, "but I can't live with this guilt. I miss you. I miss us." I wish I could erase that night. For a second, my heart wanted to believe her, to hope. But then reality whispered, "She made that choice." "Maya," I said quietly, "do you know what hurts most? It's not that you cheated. It's that you destroyed the one thing I thought was unbreakable, my trust in you." There was silence on the line, followed by quiet sobs. "I understand," she whispered, "and I'll carry that pain forever." Then she hung up. And just like that, something inside me broke completely. I realized forgiveness might never come. Because sometimes love doesn't die with hate, it dies with disappointment. That night, I walked into our bedroom one last time. I opened her side of the closet. Empty. Only a faint trace of her perfume remained. I sat on the bed, staring at the spot where she used to sleep, and whispered to the darkness, "I hope you find peace, because I'll be searching for mine." Outside, the rain started again, the same way it had on the night everything fell apart. Maybe it was the universe's way of washing away what we once were. Or maybe it was crying for us too. Days became weeks. Weeks turned into months. And yet, no matter how much time passed, the memories refused to fade. Every morning, I woke up expecting to hear her voice calling my name. Every evening, I half expected to see her sitting on the couch, smiling, pretending everything was okay. But the truth was she was gone. And even though she wasn't dead, it felt like she'd died. Or maybe it was us who had. At work, I wore a mask. I smiled when people talked, I laughed at jokes I didn't find funny, and I told everyone I was fine. But the moment I came home, the silence hit harder than ever. That house, once filled with love, warmth, and laughter, now echoed only with loneliness. Sometimes, I'd catch myself reaching for my phone, wanting to text her something small. "Did you eat?" Or remember that restaurant we loved? Only to stop midway, realizing she wasn't mine to talk to anymore. Her betrayal had ended our marriage, but it hadn't ended my love. And that was the cruelest part, loving someone who broke you. One evening, I visited my parents. My mother took one look at me and sighed. "You're not sleeping, are you?" I shook my head. I can't stop thinking about her. She sat beside me, her eyes soft but firm. "You gave her your all, son. Sometimes that's not enough. Sometimes people destroy good things because they don't know how to value them." Her words hurt, but they were true. I realized I'd been clinging to something that no longer existed. Maya wasn't the woman I fell in love with. She had become someone I couldn't recognize, and yet I kept searching for traces of who she used to be. That night, I went for a long walk. The city lights glimmered in the distance, and the sound of traffic filled the air. Somewhere out there, she was living her life. Maybe she was smiling. Maybe she was crying. I didn't know. And for the first time, I realized I didn't need to know. A few days later, I found one of her old letters while cleaning the study. It was from years ago during our early marriage. The handwriting was neat, full of love and promises. "No matter what life throws at us, I'll always choose you." I stared at those words for a long time. Once upon a time, they meant everything. Now, they were just ink on paper, a lie she might have believed then but couldn't keep. I folded the letter and placed it back in the drawer. I didn't tear it. I didn't burn it. I just let it be. Because even though she betrayed me, those moments were still real ones. And maybe that was enough. Weeks later, I ran into an old friend, someone who didn't know what had happened. He asked, "How's Maya?" "You two were perfect together." I smiled faintly. "We were," I said. And for the first time, I didn't feel the sting of those words. Maybe that was healing, not forgetting but accepting that some stories aren't meant to have a happy ending. That night, I stood on the balcony, watching the stars. The city looked peaceful, almost calm. And somewhere deep inside, I felt a tiny flicker of peace too. I still missed her, of course. I missed her laugh, her presence, her warmth. But I didn't miss the pain, the lies, the silence that came afterward. It's strange how love changes. At first, it's everything, loud, passionate, alive. Then, after heartbreak, it becomes quiet. You stop wanting them back and start wishing them peace. A few weeks later, I received an envelope in the mail. No name, just my address. Inside was a letter from her. "I know I have no right to write to you. I've tried to stay away, to respect your silence. But I need you to know I've left the city. I'm starting over somewhere new. Not to escape my guilt, but to rebuild what I destroyed inside myself. You once told me that love is trust. I broke that. I can't fix it, but I will spend my life remembering the man I lost because of one night. I hope you find someone who never makes you doubt your worth. Maya." I read that letter 3 times, each word hitting like a soft whisper from the past. I didn't cry. I didn't get angry. I just folded it and kept it beside the first letter, not out of love, but as a reminder. A reminder that sometimes people who once meant everything become lessons you never forget. Months passed. I started going out again, meeting new people, focusing on work, traveling. But no matter where I went, a part of me carried that night inside. Not as a wound anymore, but as a scar. And scars are strange things. They don't hurt forever, but they never disappear either. Sometimes, I'd see couples holding hands, laughing, and I'd smile, not with bitterness, but with hope. Because even after everything, I still believed in love. Just not the kind we had. One evening, I stood at the same beach where everything had once made sense, the place we called ours. The waves still crashed the same way, the sky still glowed the same orange at sunset. But now, I was there alone. I closed my eyes, letting the wind brush against my face, and whispered, "Goodbye, Maya." It wasn't anger. It wasn't sorrow. It was acceptance. For the first time in months, my heart felt light. Because I finally understood, sometimes the only way to love someone after betrayal is to let them go completely. It's been a year since that night. A year since the silence, the tears, the endless questions that never found answers. Time has a strange way of healing, not by erasing pain, but by teaching you how to live with it. I still live in the same house, though it feels different now. Not empty, just peaceful. The walls no longer echo her laughter, but they also don't echo my grief. They've learned to stay quiet, and so have I. Every now and then, I still find small reminders of her. A hairpin under the couch, a photograph hidden in an old drawer, a note on a book she once loved. They no longer break me. They just remind me that love, like everything else, changes shape over time. There was a time I thought her betrayal had destroyed me. But now I realize it just revealed who I truly was. Strong, patient, capable of letting go, even of the person I once believed I couldn't live without. I started volunteering at a community center a few months ago, teaching kids creative writing. Funny, isn't it? I used to write only for her. Notes, letters, poems. Now, I write for myself. One of my students asked me last week, "Sir, what's the saddest story you've ever lived?" I smiled and said, "The one that taught me how to be strong." He didn't understand then, but maybe one day he will. Because the truth is, pain changes you. Not into someone bitter, but into someone real. A few days ago, I received an unexpected message. It was from her. After all these months of silence, seeing her name again felt strange, like a ghost knocking gently on a door I'd already locked. "Maya, I heard about the work you're doing. You always had a kind heart. I'm proud of you. I hope you're happy." I stared at the screen for a long time. For the first time, I didn't feel anger, sadness, or longing. Just peace. I typed a short reply. I hope you found peace too. Take care, Maya. And that was it. No more, no less. It felt like closing a book, one I'd read too many times, memorized every page of, and finally realized I didn't need to read again. That night, I took a long drive. Same route, same streets, same city, but everything looked different now. Maybe because I finally stopped looking backward. I parked near the old cafe where we first met. It was still there, the same wooden chairs, the same aroma of coffee in the air. I walked in, sat by the window, and ordered her favorite drink, a caramel latte with extra foam. Not because I missed her, but because I wanted to remember without pain. As I sat there watching people come and go, I realized something profound. Life doesn't stop for heartbreak. It never has. It keeps moving, quietly, endlessly, waiting for us to catch up. Sometimes, I think about the version of me that night broke. The man who begged for answers, the one who couldn't sleep, the one who thought he'd never smile again. I wish I could tell him now that he survives. That one day, he wakes up and doesn't think about her first thing in the morning. That he learns to laugh again, not because the pain disappears, but because he learns it's okay to live beyond it. A few months ago, I met someone new. Her name's Alina. She's kind, gentle, and carries her own scars too. But unlike before, I'm not rushing. I'm not trying to replace what I lost. I'm learning to build something new, slowly, honestly. The first time she asked me about my past, I told her the truth. About the betrayal, the pain, the sleepless nights. She didn't pity me. She just said, "You must have loved her deeply." And I nodded. I did. She smiled softly. "Then you'll love even better now." Those words stayed with me. Love even better now. Because maybe that's the gift hidden inside heartbreak, the chance to love with wisdom, not just emotion. Sometimes, late at night, I still think about that version of us, me and Maya. Two people who once believed love alone could fix everything. Maybe we were naive. Maybe we were just human. But even now, after everything, I don't regret loving her. Because even though she broke my heart, she also taught me what kind of man I never want to become. Bitter, closed, afraid to trust. Instead, I've learned to forgive, not her actions, but the pain they caused inside me. Forgiveness isn't about giving someone another chance. It's about freeing yourself from the weight of what they did. One evening, as I walked home from work, I saw a couple holding hands, laughing, carefree. And for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel envy. I just smiled. Because I knew love wasn't the problem. People were. And if the wrong love can break you, then the right one can heal you. That night, before going to bed, I opened my drawer and took out her letters. Both of them, the one filled with promises and the one filled with apologies. I read them one last time, whispered a quiet thank you, and placed them into a small box. Then I walked to the fireplace and dropped it in. The paper curled, the ink faded, and with it, the last remnants of our past disappeared in a soft glow of orange. It didn't feel like revenge. It felt like freedom. As the flames died down, I whispered to the silence. One night changed everything. But it didn't destroy me. And in that moment, I knew I was finally free. Not from her, but from the version of myself who couldn't imagine life without her.